Hello, this is LSFT here today again. Today we're here to look at the Australian New Zealand new car assessment program results for the 2022 Lexus NX. So they just released it hot off the press, and what we see here is it did receive a 5-star rating with the elder occupant protection at 91%, the child protection at 89%, the vulnerable road user protection at 83%, and the safety assist at 92%. So when we compare the Australian and the Euro assessments, you would see that the adult got 91, child 87, the vulnerable road 83, and the safety assist at 91. So you do see that there is a little bit difference between the Europe test and the Australian test. And now we look at the IIHS test, and you would see that the 2022 NX has essentially aced their tests. Everything is in good ratings, superior settings, and all that. So we're going to look at the NX report, and I'm going to go through this process and just point out a few things. I'll be providing a link to the PDF so that if you're interested, you can definitely go through it yourself. So this actually applies to all the models that are available in Australia, and you can see that New Zealand only has the 450h F Sport, the 350h, and the 350h Limited. And then in this report, the elder occupant protection got 91%. Um, I think the biggest concern that we have here is that this line here, where the dummy readings indicate marginal protection for the driver's chest. Other than that, I would say everything seems to be okay. Have made a pass. So you see here in the frontal offset, the driver chest only got 2.57 points out of the 4 points. And then also, um, I believe in the crash, there was some deduction of 1.2 points in the front driver side. On the side impact, everything was good. And in the oblique pole, we also got an adequate on the chest, which is 3.08 points. And then when we look at the far side impact, everything went well. There's nothing here. And in the full width frontal, again, the chest seems to be not the one that gives you the full points. So the driver got 3.06 and the rear passenger got 3.72. And then in the NX, there is a center airbag that protects you between the occupant to occupant, but it looks like they are not giving points uh, because they weren't able to test certain things on the occupant to occupant. Other than that, I think the rear passenger rear impact, they deducted 0.25 points. And in Australia, they do have the advanced e-call, and in the New Zealand they do not. So that was one. I'm assuming this was not um, included, and they just gave the 1 point. So in the child occupant protection, uh, let's look at this. 89%. The biggest downfall here is the onboard safety features, which only got 8 out of 13, and the front test is 15.87 out of 16, which is very close to perfect. Let's have a look here. The front offset. So the deduction was on the 10-year-old, where we had inadequate on the neck. Yes, on the neck area for a 10-year-old. The side impact, everything is green, which means good. And then the onboard safety is where the deductions are made. So the integrated child restraints on the second outboard and the center were not available, and the ISO fix on the center was also not available. So that's probably where the most deductions were made. And going down here, it just explains where the child resistant installation because there is no ISO fix on the center, this was not available. And again, front row passenger, you do not put in kids on it. So most likely everything is all green, which is also positive. So the next item is the user protection, the vulnerable road user protection. So here we got 83%, 45.15 points out of 54. And you see the head impacts is where a lot of the deductions were made. Everything else seems to be almost full. The cyclist got a point, like 0.27 deduction, and also the AEB pedestrian backover did not get any points. So here we see it does say that the bonnet of the Lexus NX provided good or adequate protection to the head. Overall, on the surface, but it got a marginal and poor results recorded at the base of the windshield and the windshield, the pillars. Let's scroll down here a little bit more and then have a look. So overall here, you see the autonomous emergency braking. Everything is good other than the back over, which I'm surprised. I don't know, is it the limited values, like the features that are in um, the NX in Australia and New Zealand, but I thought we do have some emergency braking on the back too. So also for cyclists going front, all good. The performance is very good. And here's really more of the biggest impact, and where we have poor results in the pedestrian impact at 40 kilometers per hour. So now we scroll down to the safety assist, 92 points, 92%, 14.7 points out of the 16. So where did we get the deductions? So the speed assistance system, which is zero point 0.5 out, the lane support systems got 0.5 out, the car-to-car got 0.25 out, and those are the areas where some deductions were made. So scrolling down here, we can see that this was not tested, the overtaking, but everything else was good when tested. So that was the emergency lane keeping. And now the lane keep assists, they're all good with dash lines and solid line tests. The lane departure warning and the blind spot warning all passed. Now looking at the human machine interface, the supplementary warning was a pass. The restraint activation dynamic retractors, we did not have that feature, so that was not tested. So now we're looking at the autonomous emergency braking, car to car. Everything went well. The car was able to stop. And then also here, autonomous emergency car to car, another set of testing, and everything got a pass and is all good. So then here the occupant status. So the driver, you have a visual and an audible, and a driver monitoring. Front passenger had all the warnings, and the rear passengers also had the warnings. Then the speed assistance systems, speed limitation information, camera and map, and then the speed limitation function is the system advised. So I guess that's just some information there. And then now we look at, okay, so it's looking at the technologies and the safety features available in Australia and New Zealand. So you can see here, it's like for like, except in Australia, they do have the e-call, the emergency calling, where in New Zealand, that feature is not available. And other than that, they're all the same settings. So I pulled some competitors, similar mid-sized luxury SUVs, and compared the ratings here. So you see that they all here received a 5-star rating. And you can pause this video just to have a quick look. I'm just going to quickly go over some highlights. Like, for example, the Genesis GV70. A lot of folks are looking at the NX, are also looking at the GV70. So this was tested in 2021, last year, And if you compare it, the L dot got 91 from NX and 89 for the Genesis. The child protection is similar, but if you can see that the avoidance systems are, and also the vulnerable, the NX is more superior to the Genesis. Even if you compare it to the IX, which has the electrified option, LDOT protection is like for like. Child is 1% difference, and this is about 10% difference. And you can see the autonomous systems are much more superior on the NX. And then if you compare it to like the Volvo XC60, LDOT protection is very good, 95%, and also 8776. So I would say it is very comparable, and an NX has been rated quite well overall. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. You can also press that bell icon to get alerted when new videos are out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers.